Carlson, the freshman, is going to be the all-time freshman leading scorer at Coastal Carolina.
That's remarkable. They've had some great players there, and as a point guard, he's starting off his career in the right, and they need that perimeter player there. He does a little bit of everything. He scores from the arc. He scores putting the ball on the ground to the basket. He's a multi-type player, but their whole team is multi-talented. They've got good size. They score from, off breaks. They score taking the ball to the basket. They can shoot the three ball. They've got some decent inside players, but they're not the scoring option. They're more for the defensive end. And then, of course, you got the Eagles with the dunk fest last time. Great ball movement, great dribble penetration down the paint. I don't believe you're going to see that type of scoring tonight because of the bigs that Coastal will present. But if they do go in, they've got to go in strong, protect the ball, try to get to the free throw line, get Coastal's bigs in a little bit.
Officiating on hand tonight.
So, Dave, are you saying that there's a microscope at the end of the press table here?
Well, the principal's watching.
I understand that. Bring out your best lesson plan.
Coastal Carolina with the first possession. I talked to Coach Kelsey after the game when they lost at Charleston Southern, not about that game necessarily, but about, in general, the importance of playing defense. And he says, I love when my team gets a stop on the first possession.
And you know what? You set the tone, Dave, when you either get the stop or you force them to run it right down to the shot clock and you get the turnover.
Travel on Badu Zhang. This is a Coastal Carolina team that can really rebound and they can really defend, but they do turn the ball over 14.3 times a game. That's worst in the conference, 307th in the nation. And you see Cliff Ellis, who has coached just about every sort of team in the country. Good rebounding, good shooting. He has 700 career victories, 741 to be exact.
He has coached in this state at Clemson University. He's been at Auburn. When I was working here, we went down and played him when he was at Auburn. Very knowledgeable X&O guy, and he loves the junior college, and now he's gone abroad, and he's bringing in the talent from over there.
Cliff Ellis has been coaching longer than Pat Kelsey has been alive.
And the way you say that, Dave, is he's not that much older than I am now.
He's 68.
And I'll be 63 in May, so I'm knocking on the door right there. And that's why I said the old coaching fraternity, great guy. We spent some time before the ball game. It was great seeing him.
A foul on the rebound against Coastal Carolina as Larry Brown got bumped.
Dave, with the Eagles, if they're going to take it inside, they have to be strong and put some foul trouble on because Coastal's got some length in that post area there.
And Jagan picked up the foul, his first. Joey Jerome has been red hot from outside, but elects to pass here. Coach Kelsey really urged the team to think about their shots, to wait and get great shots, not merely good shots, as Brown misses from the baseline. Was that a great shot?
Well, Dave, you had 11 seconds on there. It was a wide open 12-footer. Larry's capable of knocking that down. You probably would have rather had, Andre or Joab shooting that ball or Keon Moore. But that was a good shot with 11 seconds. I like what the Eagles are doing right now with their footwork.
Josh Cameron from the elbow. Cameron took over as the starting point guard 8 games into the season, and he's made Eric Smith, the transfer from South Carolina, somewhat irrelevant as Cameron has taken the helm and done great things with it as the miss from outside by Jerome.
Well, Dave, at UNC Asheville, he scored 29 points and hit his first 5 threes. So that's why Smith is over there on the bench.
Warren Gillis, number 0, the only player on this Coastal roster that has been on the team for 3 years. And there's turnover number 2 on the Chanticleers.
And another good defensive effort by the Eagles. Now what they have to do is they've got to take time off the clock, but I think what they need to do is when they get the great shot, you need to bury that 3. You're not going to be able to pound it in too much inside because of the length. Maybe Larry Brown can take him off the bounce from maybe the elbow.
See that fan doing the Bernie dance? Keon Johnson.
That's all predicated off the dribble penetration to kick out to his teammate and a great look. Now we know that the perimeter people of the Eagles can scorch the nets, Dave.
That's the 49th three of the season for Keon Johnson. 52 is the Winthrop freshman record from Tyson Waterman,
who, Dave, I had the opportunity to coach.
And he's a coach himself now, and a steal by Larry Brown. The third Chanticleer turnover. Can Winthrop turn it into points? Jerome cannot. Larry Brown keeps possession for Winthrop. Johnson to Moore.
That's the ball movement and player movement that they want, Dave. I think Coach Kelsey will live with that.
Foul called on Winthrop, and then Josh Cameron fell on an Eagle.
I think he used part of Keon Johnson's face as a floor mat right there, but Keon bounced up, so evidently didn't bother him. Tough kid.
First foul on Johnson. First sub of the game is Michelle Inaga for Coastal Carolina, the sophomore from Cameroon. Averages about 6 points a game. Inaga had 4 points and 6 boards against Winthrop in an overtime Eagle victory in Conway, January 18th.
And Dave, I believe that their best starting lineup was Inaga. I think they're 7-2, but the team that started tonight is 6-1 right now.
Badu Zhang deep in the post.
That right there, you're just not going to stop it. The way you stop it is you don't let them catch it.
Coach Kelsey would say the way to stop it is to pressure the passer.
And that, I totally agree with him. If the passer can't see him when he's open, then you can defend that.
Keon Moore kicking to Andre Smith.
Dave,
bump from behind on Inaga.
One thing that you can sense already, the way this game is being refereed, it is going to be a physical game. Winthrop is not going to back down from the physicality of what Coastal is. This is going to be a fun game.
Every Coastal game is a physical game. That's what they do best. They're tough, they rebound, they defend, and they have big guys.
They do. They got some length on them.
And that's what Winthrop does. They've shot it very well this year. Smith missed, but Larry Brown is on the glass.
And that's two that he's tracked down off that glass, and Coach Kelsey wants him to get that offense moving.
Smith on the baseline, kicks to Keon Moore, wide open. Andre Smith.
He's holding his knee, Dave.
Andre Smith was able to walk off the court for Winthrop. He's been replaced by Christian Farmer. Coastal Carolina with the basketball. Bobby, what have you seen in the early going as the turnaround from Warren Gillis is nowhere close, but a second chance for the Chanticleers and the finish by Elijah Wilson.
Well, the biggest thing is that the Eagles have turned Coastal over 3 times, which has kept them from scoring because they can score a lot of points. And I like the energy with the ball movement and the player movement on the offensive end. They've gotten some pretty good looks, and Larry Brown right now is cleaning the boards down this end.
Chris Farmer played 19 minutes, had been a bit player prior to the game Saturday against CSU. Here is Farmer, the outside shooting specialist.
Dave, one of the things that Coastal does is they'll hedge really high and go with you.
Let's take a look at what happened to Andre Smith before our break. Smith penetrating on the baseline. Hard to see. Landed awkwardly?
Yeah, that's about the only thing that I could see there is possibly that he landed or he got kneed just in the right spot, maybe right behind the knee.
He did walk to the bench. He's riding the stationary bicycle in back of the Winthrop bench, and athletic trainer Jeff Lahr over there watching over things, but they're joking, they're smiling, so I think things are probably okay. Larry Brown checks out. James Bourne is in. Bourne had the game winner for the Eagles against Coastal Carolina in overtime back in January.
Free throws in the three-point shot tonight can be a big key.
Eagles extend some full court pressure, and Coastal doesn't have much difficulty with it, and Chris Farmer will be called for a foul.
Now Coastal's got some depth on that bench over there.
Watch Farmer's transition defense, and You got to move your feet, Bobby.
Well, that was a little hesitation move by the Coastal player right there, and if you saw it, Farmer kind of stood up a little bit, and that was just what he needed to turn the corner and put him at a bad defensive angle.
Elijah Wilson has had some sort of freshman season at Laney High School in Wilmington, and I guess we should have known he was going to be a good college player. In high school, he tied Michael Jordan's school record for 42 points in a game.
Well, that's saying something right there, Dave. 42, and you're being mentioned with Michael Jordan.
Well, good company.
He's wearing number 22, though, so that there.
He spent a year at Mount Zion Academy and then on to Coastal, where he's averaging more than 16 points a game, 9th best in the league. Brandon Vega is on to play point guard for Wintrop. Vega penetrates, and he's fouled. Warren Gillis is first.
Coastal did a good job of overplaying the wing, and Brandon Vega kept the ball in his hands way too long, Dave. They couldn't get into that offense and get an option running. Okay, now if I'm Wintrop, you might.
If they called it on a Naga, it's his second.
Well, you want to pound the ball in now. This is a smaller lineup that Coastal's got on the bench. If you've got to, if you want to go to your inside game, now's the time to go to it.
And Naga racing out to the shooter. Jerome missed the three, gets his own rebound, swings inside, but Keon Moore couldn't catch the pass on the baseline.
A little bit of pushing and shoving on that offensive rebound right there.
Eagles get a couple chances, can't score. Coastal comes down, and that's 6 points for Elijah Wilson.
I tell you, he's a big guard.
Farmer can't answer. Anaga driving on Jerome. Dribble handoff, Gillis. James Bourne called for his first.
Hey, they're letting them play in there right now. It's physical down there on the block.
There have been 7 fouls called.
Well.
Tevin Prescott on for Wintrop. And for Coastal Carolina, Colton Ray St. Cyr, who did not play in the first game with Wintrop, was out with a stress fracture. St. Cyr out of Williamsburg, Virginia.
Dave, when we've seen the fouls, we haven't really said, oh, that was a foul. They've all been good solid fouls, but James is picking them up in a hurry.
Yep, number 2 on James Bourne. We'll see if Coach Kelsey goes back to Larry Brown, and he will.
And that doesn't help the Eagles with Bourne picking up 2 quick ones, because the Eagles then have to go a little smaller down the stretch with him picking up 2 in 13 minutes to go in the first half.
And it's especially problematic against the Coastal team that's very big, and Warren Gillis beats him off the inbound.
You can never trail an offensive player like that, because that's exactly what happens to you.
Vega. Brandon Vega has really expanded his range over the course of the season, and I asked Coach Kelsey why, and he goes, he's wearing out Marty McGillen shooting around during the day.
Well, I tell you, Dave, the thing that I've noticed the last couple games is he's actually looking for his shot a little more. We've known him as a passer, quarterback, but he's added another dimension.
Inside for Leshkovich, and 3 in the key. Another Coastal Carolina turnover, their 4th.
David, you don't see that often with 3 seconds with a player trying to make a move to the basket. I think it was a good call, but you just don't see that often enough. The people that have gone, and we've got Andre Smith back in there, so the knee's probably just a little banged up.
Smith feeding the post, and a kick on the Chanticleers. '77th meeting between Wintrop and Coastal. Chanticleers lead at 39-37. Wintrop has won 3 of the last 4, and the Eagles have had the advantage in the games that really count. They've won 2 straight championship games when these squads have met. Coastal has not won a Big South Conference championship since 1993. Another second chance for Larry Brown. Fourth rebound, his third offensively.
Larry might need to face him at the high post and try to take him off the dribble.
Andre Smith drives baseline and gets to the rack. St. Cyr didn't cut off the baseline.
And I tell you what, with the bigs out sitting on the bench, go ahead and attack the rim right there. And we're glad to see Andre Smith's knees doing fine.
Much the same feel as the game down in Conway. Very close and hard fought from the get-go. Cameron had that shot blocked. It's going to be a held ball on the arrow to Wintrop.
That is a great call.
Let's watch Andre Smith come back from the bench. Coach, we're glad to have you as a coach, but we got to get you back in the recording studio.
And I've known Cliff a long time. I did not know that about him. But it doesn't surprise me. The man with the vault. You got more stats and things about people. Well, I didn't know that about Cliff. I'll have to get after him next time I visit with him.
3 major hits, laugh it off, where have you been, and thank you, baby. And he would encourage you to find those on iTunes, and he's still collecting some royalties. A held ball on the arrow to Ellis's Chanticleers.
I thought Larry Brown took the ball strong to the rim right there. Wow. And there's no hammer. A lot of body contact right there. Well, the tone's been set. If you're going to take it, you better take it strong.
Coastal Carolina has hit almost everything they've taken, 5 of 6 from the floor, but they've turned it over 5 times. Wintrop has gotten 13 shots up, but made only 4 of them.
And that's the thing, is that Wintrop has done a nice job with their defense, and it's limited Coastal to scoring. And that's what they're going to have to do for 40 minutes, Dave.
Pitch back to Wilson. St. Cyr on the baseline. Double team comes. Shot clock down to 6. St. Cyr off balance. Eagles with a transition opportunity.
Tell you, Larry Brown and Prescott were going after that ball down there, and they kept it alive. And I haven't seen Larry this active in a long time, Dave.
On the baseline, it's Tevin Prescott.
He had the right idea and had the split, just needed to finish.
Prescott, one of his last 6 from the floor. Cameron, St. Cyr gets by Moore. Can't score. Keon Johnson on the deck after it. Tevin Prescott on the deck after it. And a held ball. Wintrop will get possession.
It's like a ping pong match. Tie up, tie up, tie up.
Coach Kelsey was trying to call a timeout from the bench, and he's asking Mark Schnurr why he was not granted that timeout.
And what he is telling Coach Kelsey, Dave, is that nobody actually had full possession to call it.
I think at one point Prescott may have, but that might not have been the moment that Coach Kelsey was calling for the TO.
Right.
The timeout has to be called for simultaneously to when you have possession. Joey Jerome lost the handle around the free throw line, and it leads to Eric Smith. Keon Moore.
We have seen when he gets that look in his eyes right there, he's pulling up 1 against 3 right there, but he can bury the 3 in a hurry. They're going to have, Dave, and we've seen them make 10 or more three-pointers in games. And I know you've got a stat for that, but they're going to have to do that tonight.
The leader, it's an offensive foul.
Larry Brown's doing a little bit of everything tonight. Rebounding, taking the ball strong.
Let's watch Keon Moore give Wintrop the lead.
And it's all fueled by the pass up the floor. There's 1, there's 2, there was like 3 defenders down there, and he pulled up right in their face.
Wintrop has hit 10 threes or more 9 times this year. It's the most in school history, but they're only 5-5 under Pat Kelsey in 2 years when they hit 10 threes. That's a long 2 for Andre Smith.
I tell you, but this team, they thrive on that. And Dave, they've got an inside game, but their strength is around that arc, and those the post players understand that, and they do get to the free throw line and keep a nice balance in and out. Tell you, the Eagles are doing a nice job of every time they come off those screens being there.
Great help by Joey Jerome on the baseline drive by Zheng, but the outlet pass to Larry Brown is too tall.
Just threw it a little too hard instead of just lobbing it out there.
Watch the help here by Jerome.
You can't get any better baseline help than that right there, Dave.
Josh Davenport is checked in from Winthrop. The freshman from Cincinnati is just 6 of his last 20 over 8 games and hasn't been playing much. Only 1 minute in the game Saturday against Charleston Southern. Did not play in the game against Coastal Carolina back in January.
Well, now's the time to perform, because this is a game that Coach Kelsey's going to have to go deep into his bench with the way they're playing.
Gillis.
Dave, he is such a strong point guard like that, that he can just take the ball in there and go up over you.
Keon Johnson. Is that a good shot?
No, that one was not a good shot. There was no ball movement. There was no player movement. It was just a quick little crossover and shooting a 3.
That's a better shot with 5 on the shot clock than 30.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gillis guarded by half the team, kicks it out, had an open Zhang who bobbled it, and it's another Chanticleer turnover, their 8th of the game.
I mean, this is just a quick pull right there.
8 Chanticleer turnovers have led to 7 Winthrop points. Eagles only 6 of 17 shooting, Coastal 7 of 10, but the Eagles have taken advantage of those miscues.
And that's been big, Dave, in the game right there, the turnovers. It's given Winthrop a couple easy transition baskets. But the biggest thing is they got to keep Coastal out of the paint down there.
Prescott in the corner with the shot clock down to 11. And Joey Jerome traveled. Turnover 4 on Winthrop. That's the 4th turnover on Joey Jerome. All 4 of Winthrop's turnovers have been on the senior, playing in his 113th game.
Well, that's a little unusual. He may be trying to do a little too much too early in the ball game. I mean, he's excited about this game right here. This is the last time he gets to play Coastal on this floor.
Jared Scott is in for Winthrop, number 35, a freshman big. Left his man, and Zheng delivers a 3, no good. Scott with the rebound. Here's Jerome knifing his way to the goal. And Jerome will have a chance for a 3-point play.
That's taking the ball strong to the basket right there.
Watch it again. Head down here. Joey Jerome, no doubt where he's going.
And again, Dave, it's all fueled by the pass up the floor to give the offensive player a chance to angle in there.
Foul is on Badu Zhang, his first. Joey Jerome with an opportunity for his 34th 3-point play as an Eagle. 17 of 33 in his first 112 games as an Eagle. Hasn't been real successful converting these free throws after hitting a bucket, but he does this time. And Winthrop has their largest lead.
Well, we've seen Joab, Dave, that what part of his game shooting a 3 this year has helped his driving to the basket, because they've got to come out on him. He's quick enough to take it to the rack.
Joey's hit 28 threes this year. Deflected ball by Tevin Prescott. Jerome hit only 11 his prior 3 seasons. Reach and foul called on Tevin Prescott.
Dave, that's kind of interesting. The body play that's coming out of there and then going across the lane, I thought it kind of backed off a little bit, and they end up calling a foul right there. They've allowed a lot of body-to-body contact that they've let go. And we've had 11 fouls already, and there's still 6.5 minutes to go in the first half.
6 fouls on Coastal, 5 on Winthrop. Only players with multiple. James Bourne for the Eagles with 2, and Michelle Inaga with 2 for the Chanticleers.
If Jared Scott doesn't reach in and just holds his ground, he's got a charge.
Keon Johnson gets called for his second. A little bit of a hook, but it came after the bump.
I thought he hooked him too.
Vega in, Johnson sits. Keon averages more than 24 minutes a game, but he's probably out for the last 6.5 of this opening half.
I tell you what I like is that both teams have just adjusted to the way they're playing.
Josh Cameron, a deep one.
Now we know that he can light it up. He hit his first 5 at UNC Asheville. So you need to know where he is behind that arc. And that was an NBA 3 right there.
43% from outside the arc, and Jared Scott traveled. He looked like he was kind of between whether he wanted to shoot it or drive. Let's watch Cameron's 3. Yeah, that is a deep one.
I mean, that's close to Clover.
Coach Ellis. Naga is in with 2 fouls. He's got the ball against Jared Scott. Hits a cutter, it's Gillis, and he's fouled.
Okay, that's a pretty good defensive effort by the Eagles. They came close to getting that 5-second.
Foul is on Prescott, his second. I love the way Coastal is really on every possession trying to get to the rim.
Oh, they make a living going there, and that's, I think, the key to their success in the last 8 ball games. They've won 7 out of their last 8, is their ability around the arc to get to the rim.
Bobby, as you've looked at the history of the conference, there's no doubt that a team like VMI has been so much better under Duger Bockham than anyone that preceded him, but their style is very difficult to win in the conference tournament. The style that Coastal Carolina plays, great on defense, tough on the glass, that's a tournament style of play.
Well, it is, and they're really peaking. They've got those early losses, those 3 early losses, but they have just been picking up a head of steam right now, and now Cliff has already settled into that starting 5. He's got 2 starting 5s that have won 13 ball games right now for him.
Over the years at 4 schools, Ellis has gone to 9 NCAA tournaments. 9 conference championships, 8 NCAA tournaments. Jared Scott wasn't contested but couldn't hit it, and Larry Brown got hit in the nose on that rebound. Gillis. Cameron again attacking the paint. A foul called. It's on Wintrop, and Coach Kelsey is beside himself. Andre Smith picks up the foul.
That's unbelievable, Dave. Cameron pushed off him with the left hand. I mean, that's as obvious as can be.
First on Andre Smith, 8th team foul on Wintrop. Cameron's a 76% free throw shooter, and he missed the front of the 1-on-1, but Engine's got the rebound. It's out of bounds to Coastal. Coastal Carolina has 5 players with international roots. There are only 4 teams in the country with more international players than the Chanticleers.
And why doesn't that surprise me that you came up with that stat?
Another turnover on Coastal, they're 9th.
The vault by Freeman.
There you see Mike Kelsey, Coach Kelsey's father, sitting in the front row, and he didn't look overly pleased.
Well, I wouldn't be either. I mean, we know Pat isn't, but that's, the game's got to go on. You just got to play through it.
Moore, tough leaner. 5 points make it 8 points for Keon Moore.
Well, Dave, right now, I think the key to the game right now is Wintrop is turning Coastal over more, even though Coastal's got the higher percentage.
Brandon Vega got beat, and Josh Cameron finishes. Keon Moore, 11 first half points.
When you see him set his feet like that and the guards drive in and then kick out, that's money. Go ahead and make an investment.
He had 26 against the Chanticleers in January, knocked home 5 threes. Moore is 3 for 5 from outside the arc today. Gillis inside. Engine from the short corner. Vega probing. Nice pass. Larry Brown wasn't ready for it. Keon Moore on the feed from Vega.
And Dave, you've gone down to the human behavior right there. I mean, it's all going to be interpreted by how the official sees it, at what angle and at what perspective. And so it's always the human element that's involved in this, no matter what the rule is. On paper, it's a good concept, but you've got the human factor always involved.
Back door to Gillis, and he'll have a chance for a three-point play. Again, Coastal attacking the paint.
And Dave, they run that out of a 1-4 set with the back door when you're overly aggressive. And the Wintrop is really aggressive. I'm surprised they haven't gone to that a little sooner, back door plays.
First foul on Larry Brown. Team foul 9 on Wintrop, and Gillis converts the three-point play. And that will be turnover 7 on the Eagles. Turnovers mounting for both teams, 9 on Coastal Carolina.
Sometimes you got to slow your motor down a little bit and get yourself under control. Come to your jump stop. Keon was there. There was no rush to get it. Just take your time and deliver the pill to him.
Josh Cameron peering over at Coastal coach Cliff Ellis to get a play call. Ellis looking for Division I victory number 664 to tie him with John Wooden. Three-pointer no good for Cameron, but the Eagles couldn't squeeze the rebound.
Keon Moore had that.
Wins taken away.
Well, it just means he's got to coach a little longer.
Year number 39 for Ellis. Triple out of the corner, no good, and Wintrop controls the rebound.
Keon Moore didn't let that one slip out of his hands. The key to it, Dave, is good passing, but you got to make sure that those passing angles are short.
Vega tried to force that into Larry Brown. Arrow points to the Chanticleers. Cliff Ellis at Clemson, 10 years, 177 wins, 128 losses. Won the 1990 ACC title, the only one in school history. At South Alabama, 171 and 84, 3 Sun Belt championships. At Auburn, 186 and 125. 1999, a 1 seed in the tournament. The National Coach of the Year. Is the only coach besides Lefty Drizel to lead 4 schools to 100 victories or more, and he's looking to go to the NCAA tournament with 4 schools. Gillis lost that one going up. Gillis went down hard. The Eagles a 5-on-4. Davenport. The stick back by Larry Brown.
Larry Brown has played well, Dave. He has just been all over the place defensively, offensive boards, but the Eagles just keep pressing. They refuse to back away.
First basket for Brown, but 5 rebounds for the junior. Wilson attacking the rim. Everything for the Chanticleers is within 5 or 6 feet of the rim.
And I'm sure that's going to be something that will be addressed at halftime.
What can you do differently defensively?
Well, there's a lot of different things. You can tighten up your defense and stop the penetration, but they're a little concerned with Cameron and those guys on the perimeter because this is a good shooting team from the perimeter.
An illegal screen. If it's on Brown, it's his second. No, this is going to be a bump on the Chanticleers, I think. It is on Coastal.
Yeah. See, David,
number 2 on Wilson.
Coastal as a team is shooting 41% from the arc. And you've got, Jang that's shooting 44 and Cameron shooting 51%, 52% from behind the arc. That's phenomenal.
Brown's a 47% free throw shooter. This is a 1-and-1 situation. Coastal comes down with the rebound. The numbers are glaring when Wintrop opponents shoot 50% or better. Eagles are 1-6 this year, 1-11 under Coach Kelsey, and over the last 7 years, they're 2-30. Coastal is shooting 63%, but it's a close game, a 1-possession game, as the Chanticleers will go to the line.
Well, the one glaring thing that they'll have to address is that dribble drive to the basket. And you've got this nice little, he's off balance, but he gets a good shot off, and Larry Brown comes in from that weak side.
Wintrop foul on Josh Davenport. Sends St. Cyr to the line, and the freshman good with the first. Colton Ray St. Cyr from Williamsburg, Virginia. He's a 67% free throw shooter. He missed 6 games earlier with a foot injury. Eagles control the rebound, Joey Jerome. St. Cyr enrolled at Coastal last spring, so he had an extra semester of practice, and a jump shot by Andre Smith. Josh Cameron splits 2 defenders, pitches out to Gillis. Warren Gillis having a big first half, 12 points. Had 19 in the first meeting with Wintrop. The Eagles won in overtime. Eagles can't quite play for the final shot. Keon Moore. Now Coastal can play for the last shot. Chanticleers led the first meeting 43-41 at halftime, and Coach Ellis will use a timeout. Take a look at the Penn students. Let's see what Coach Ellis runs here, last play of the first half. Gillis with 12 points, Wilson with 8, Cameron has 7. Gillis fouled by Larry Brown. Number 2 on Larry Brown. 2 fouls on Keon Johnson, 2 fouls James Bourne, 2 fouls Larry Brown. And Brown will exit for the final 5 seconds of the half, and on will come walk-on Donovan Carter. 2 shots for Gillis. Coastal 6 of 8 at the line, Gillis 3 for 3. Only player on the Chanticleer roster that's been in the program for 3 years. This is Gillis's 84th career game, as you see Donovan Carter check in. Gillis out at Philly, played at Rise Academy. Playing a lot of minutes this year with the graduation of Anthony Rafa and Kier Greenwood. 14 points for Warren Gillis in the first half. 7 is the largest margin for either team. We'll see what the Eagles draw up to run length of the court here. See if Cliff Ellis changes defenses. Down in Conway, final play of regulation. Tied game, Wintrop playing for the final shot, and for the first time all game long, Coastal came out in a 1-3-1 zone. See if the Chanticleers switch it up here. Well, it's not a conventional defense. Josh Cameron, a guard, is guarding the rim. Looks like a little 1-3-1, but they're going to pick up at midcourt. Joey Jerome gets the inbound. Joey Jerome into the lane, leaves for Davenport, and the Eagles score at the buzzer. Wintrop gets within 5 on Josh Davenport's first basket today.
Personalities from all around the world, and that's what coaching is all about. And it's really the last 8 games that the chemistry has started to fuel.
They've won 7 of their last 8, and they take a lead into the second half. Coastal Carolina did most of their scoring on the interior in the first half. Eagles drive it in there and draw a foul to begin the second half.
It's a nice dribble penetration right there, but I'm not so sure Joab knew what wrinkle on that play was, but they isolated it for him, and he went with the little spin move and got bumped from behind, but they're saying it's on the ground.
Foul was on Zhang, his second. Looked like a zone that the Chanticleers were playing.
If it is, it's a one-time. They don't usually play.
Once upon a time, Cliff used to throw the kitchen sink at you. He's played a lot more man this year, and it is going to be a shooting foul.
The officials getting together.
Let's see if this should have been on the floor or 2 shots for Joey Jerome.
He's in the motion. If you're talking about the NBA and he's in the motion of turning, good call.
What would John Adams, the national coordinator of men's basketball officiating, who's watching this one courtside, say?
Say it was a great call by officials on the floor.
Well, that might be what he said to the media, but what would he say in private?
You might have to ask him that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of question that, we saw where he was starting to spin, and you could say that he was going for a layup too, which his foot was up off the ground a little bit. So based on the movement upward with the vertical, yeah, we'll shoot 2 right there.
Joey hits them both. He's got 5. It's a 1-possession game.
Dave, I think it's about, can Wintrop stop the dribble penetration and lower the number of points in the paint and knock threes down at the other end? We'll
Gillis,
decide this
the
game.
lob to Zhang. No call either way, no charge, no block, and Zhang scores over the fallen Joey Jerome.
So it's going to go with the flop probably, and we didn't have a very good angle.
Jerome drives in, tried to pitch it out, but the steal made by Njajin, and the foul on Joey Jerome.
Well, one of the things about the flop, Dave, is we know Jerome, he doesn't flop much. He takes the hit. He'll stand in there. He's a tough kid.
Losing his balance was Wilson, but he gets it to Gillis, who can't hit from the elbow, and a 5-on-4 break for Keon Johnson. Johnson attacking the big. Now backs it out to Andre Smith. Smith was injured in the early going, but came back. The lob to Larry Brown at the short corner. He'll finish with the right hand.
Nice execution right there, and Larry gathered himself, shot that little baby hook. He didn't try to rush it. He collected him. And I haven't seen Larry do that in a long time. That was nice momentum, and that's good for the Eagles.
Upperclassmen in the post are a lot more composed. They take their time. Younger players tend to rush it. Larry Brown was very patient.
And I think that's a good point, David. That's just the process of maturation and understanding how to get that shot off.
Cameron shot blocked out of bounds by Brown. Larry Brown's 24th block shot of the season, and we'll take another look.
Dave, did you see the way the Eagles were talking to one another, head tapping to let them know that's a shot clock, 6 seconds, and Larry Brown, that's huge.
Wilson, and a reach-in foul on Smith with 3 on the shot clock. Coach, he didn't like the call.
I'll tell you what, that's tough. Both players have got their hands out right there, and that's hard to call on a defender or an offensive player. If you're going to let it roll. That's getting to a ticky-tack foul right there, especially where the officials have allowed this game to be established.
The inbound was tipped, but the Chanticleers scoop it out. And Jagan really posting up hard, didn't get the ball, and now he's kind of dismayed, walking away from the play. And the foul on Joey Jerome of Wintrop. His second.
Well, Dave, this game right now has been entirely called a different way. I'm not, the contact is by the offensive player right there. He hasn't established getting that shoulder around.
Let's watch how the post-up comes this time, and instead Enshin ran right over Larry Brown. You can almost see that coming, Bobby, on the previous possession, and Jagan was frustrated. He was posting up hard. He didn't get the ball. And that time, he just ran over Larry Brown trying to establish his position.
And Larry Brown is playing a very complete game right now, taking charges, blocking shots, jump hooks. We talked about his offensive board play in the first half. That has to continue. James Bourne needs to give them some points in the paint and play some tough defense in the paint as well.
Bourne picked up 2 early fouls, subbing in here for Joey Jerome, so the Eagles a little bit taller.
Ball movement and player movement are going to be important.
Andre Smith got his feet set on that one.
And you know, he didn't make one in the first half, and we know he can go deep too, Dave. The 3-ball and the stopping the dribble drive to the basket are the 2 keys that the Eagles have got to concentrate on.
138 career-made threes for Andre Smith, 9th all-time at Winthrop, and the Eagles get a steal. Andre Smith to Johnson, and he'll knife his way in and get fouled. I don't think they would have counted that even if it had gone.
Even that would be a little generous for an NBA play.
Andre Smith with the feet set here. It's deep, but he's ready.
Deep, deep. That's about...
Is that a bad shot?
Not for him. And the shot clock was running down, Dave. We know that Andre Smith, when he gets into that rhythm, he and Keon Moore and Keon Johnson, they can knock 3 down, the 3-ball down, and they're not going to win this game with the power game against Coastal. It's got to be a combination of it. Heavy on the 3-ball.
6 ties, 10 lead changes. Larry Brown deep in the pivot. A foul again on the Chanticleers, and this could be 3 on Njagan.
And Njagan just started walking straight to the bench. He knew that was his 3rd. He was coming out. Now Coastal
that
goes
was the
deep.
3rd on Badu Zheng. They didn't call it on Njagan. They called it on Zheng. And he went straight to the bench. First player in the game with 3 fouls. Larry Brown.
That's what I'd like to see Larry Brown do against the bigs of Coastal, is get the ball in the elbow, little ball fake, and take it to the rim. I think he's got the quickness to go ahead and power the ball from there, Dave.
Bobby, the Chanticleers have been called for 5 fouls in 3 minutes and 15 seconds here in the second half.
Well, there's a lot of physical play. They are trying to establish themselves right now
They were
with
called
the
for
physicality.
7 fouls in the first half.
They're being a little more aggressive right now because they're trying to spread that score out, but Winthrop refuses to back down. I mean, we've got a game on our hands. The crowd hadn't quite got into it yet.
Well, there's been no pace in the second half.
No, there really hasn't. But the crowd here, that student section down there, they've got to help this basketball team down the stretch with their enthusiasm.
Winthrop's lead is 2. Eagles have outscored Coastal Carolina 9-2 to begin the second half.
And Dave, they've eliminated most of the dribble drives to the rim.
Josh Davenport in to play defense and does a nice job on Warren Gillis. A shot missed by Wilson.
Did he go up and get that thing? Oh, man. That's the way to rebound the ball. Spacing. Coastal's got some quickness. They'll try to get into your passing lanes.
This set started with 5 players above the free throw line. But it ends at the rim, and Larry Brown couldn't finish. Gillis attacking Davenport. Josh thought he had a steal. It's his 2nd personal foul.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't mind that foul right there, Dave. Going for the ball, you don't give up the layup or the possible dunk to get them excited, take the crowd out of it. I like that foul right there.
Cliff Ellis thinks this should be a shooting foul.
Well, after Joab's, I'd be questioning it too, I believe.
It is going to be a shooting foul, and Coach Kelsey can't believe it. And his father Mike right behind him. They had the exact same look on their face. They both put their hands on their head, their arms outstretched, saying, "What are you talking about?" Gillis will shoot a pair. Let's take a look whether this should have been on the floor or shoot it.
Dave, he's fouled him right there, and he is nowhere near thinking about leaving the ground. That is the Joab. So, you know, his foot was not getting up at all.
Inaga and Bourne going after the rebound. I think they said last touch by Bourne. There wasn't really a signal from our baseline referee, Forrest Sigler.
I thought he was looking for the trail official out here, but I don't know how he could see it if the baseline official couldn't. So they just reset it.
And Naga driving on Tevin Prescott, and the foul called on the Winthrop walk-on. And that's number 3 on Prescott. Coastal Carolina will shoot free throws when we come back. Stevens visited with, and then Mamadou Enchai, and I don't think we needed to identify him. He's the near 7-footer who played for Cliff at Auburn. It is a staff with a lot of experience.
There's a lot of experience over on that bench right there, and it allows Cliff really to concentrate on one or two things and, you know, just turn to that bench. I mean, they're all former head coaches, so they know how the program should be run.
You were talking to Don Hogan. Do you remember when he was at Southern Alabama? He was there for 16 years.
He was down there with Cliff, and I met him on the recruiting trail when we were both very young, and neither one of us had gray hair.
Jeez, that must have been a long time ago. That was way before the Big South Network.
Just a few years before.
Tevin Prescott drives, gets to the lane and scores. Boy, we haven't seen Tevin Prescott take 2 dribbles very often this year. That's his first bucket.
Dave, what I like is how Winthrop has attacked the rim in the second half. They've actually getting to the glass more than Coastal is.
And they're going to call it on Prescott for holding up Njagan, and that's number 4 on Tevin Prescott. And what Coach Kelsey isn't going to like is how late the call came from referee Jason Goldenberg. I think he had 2 hands on him.
Well, you got that arm bar right there.
And that's an offensive foul. That's extending the off arm. Take a look at the foul trouble for both teams, and we can add another name to that as Josh Cameron just picked up his 3rd. So both teams feeling the fouls.
And, you know, Prescott getting that little dribble drive to the basket, feeling a little good about scoring on the inside, you know, that hurts him.
Keon Johnson was in foul trouble in the first half, and Josh Cameron just picked up his 4th. Cliff Ellis couldn't get him out of the game. At the scorer's table, Eric Smith was there to come in. He couldn't get the point guard out, and Josh Cameron has 4 fouls with 15 minutes to go.
Well, Cliff is just a really cool customer over there. All he did was he pointed to the head to Cameron, said, hey, look, you got 4 fouls, you got 1 more, but you got to play smarter than that.
Keon Johnson to the stripe. Both teams are shooting 1 and 1 on every foul. They're 5 minutes into the second half.
We may get home for the Jimmy Kimmel show tonight. And you know the thing about it, Dave, is that foul by Cameron, that was way out here. That was like 3 feet from us.
Yep.
To pick up that silly foul like that.
The Winthrop coaching staff often says to Larry Brown, don't be a gambler. We need you on the court. Don't commit stupid fouls. That was kind of a stupid foul. Here's a baseball pass to Wilson for a dunk. Nice inbound against the pressure by the Chanticleers.
Wow, that you just cannot give up that type of easy basket when you're in a heated game.
James Bourne deep in the pivot, and he's fouled. It's Njagan.
Well, I liked what Larry did right there. And again, they got lost. You lost your man. You got to pick them up, find out where they are. You can't let them get the easy one down there.
They called the foul on Enaga. It's his 4th. So 4 fouls on Michel Enaga and 4 on Josh Cameron of the Chanticleers.
Well, now, Dave, do you have your sneakers with you in the car?
Yeah.
You and I might have to finish this game.
Yeah, there are about 2,000 people here that might be better than me at finishing the game. Once upon a time, you could play, but I don't know if that's still the case.
If they just let me stand at the arc and shoot it, I think we're in good shape.
Enaga now has 4 after that last foul. James Bourne misses the 2nd free throw.
Foul trouble is really going to play a huge part right now because the question is will the players become tentative on the defensive end?
Well, the Chanticleers have been a different team this year with Cameron at point guard, 14-5 in the 19 games he's started, and the beginning of the year when Eric Smith was the starter. Now, obviously, the level of competition was a little bit different, but they were only 2-5 in the games Eric Smith started. Foul here is on Keon Moore, his first.
Well, I was looking at the different rotations, the starting lineups that he was playing, Dave, and really up to 8 games, he really didn't find, although the starting 5 before that was 7-2. So he's got almost 2 different starting rotations.
Yeah, but both of those lineups have Josh Cameron in there.
That's correct.
1 out of 2 at the line. Wintrop by 2 with the basketball. Joey Jerome has his eye on the rim, gets nearly there, but is stripped. Larry Brown saves it, and now the Chanticleers into transition. Gillis to the rim.
He is so strong taking the ball to the basket.
17 points for Warren Gillis. Had 19 against the Eagles in the first meeting. Smith, a deep one, no. Larry Brown's 6th offensive rebound of the game.
He's done a nice job with that. And that might have been just a little quick shot for Andre. Oh, nice screen across the lane and delivered by Joab. And what I liked was as soon as Larry caught it, he went straight up to the rim.
Some numbers that really indicate Wintrop's in good shape tonight. When Larry Brown is the team's leading rebounder, they're 7-0. When Brown has 5 rebounds or more, the Eagles are 7-1. And Larry Brown has 8 points and 7 boards.
Tell you what, he's doing a nice job right now.
Elijah Wilson and Jagan at the free throw line. He almost knocked down the backboard. No foul, no tie-up, transition for the Chanticleers. And goaltending on Larry Brown. Coach Kelsey is becoming unglued. He's way out onto the court. Time.
Dave, the team that keeps their composure down the stretch and doesn't get rattled, they'll win this game right here. Because that's going to be the difference of 1 or 2 baskets when you've lost your composure.
Prescott with 4 fouls for Wintrop. Cameron and Anaga with 4 for the Chanticleers. Very few possessions as Coastal veered away from a man defense. They appear to be in some sort of matchup here, Bobby.
Well, what they're doing, Dave, is they're hedging out real high, and it looks like they're switching. And in some situations, they are.
Andre Smith floater. Coastal can run here with Smith behind the play. Holton Ray St. Cyr. Leshkovich is an awful big body being guarded by Joey Jerome.
You've got a mismatch right here with Dang in there and Keon Johnson.
And a traveling violation. You're absolutely right, Bobby. You had 5'7" Keon Johnson guarding 6'7" Badu Zhang, and the Chanticleers couldn't get Zhang the basketball.
That's your point guard right there. You have to recognize that switch off, and that's mismatch. I thought Dang was going to do it because he went over to the other block, and the ball came opposite where he went.
Keon Moore got a pretty good breather. He's back in there. Andre Smith sits down. Moore with 11 points all in the first half, and here he is off 2 screens, but they get to him. Davenport for 3. And the second chance will send Joey Jerome to the free throw line. Eagles have done a pretty darn good job on the glass against one of the best rebounding teams in the country. In fact, Wintrop leading.
A little screen across, and I like the catch and the score inside real quick.
Larry Brown, over his last 5 games, averaging more than 6 points and nearly 6.5 rebounds a game. His prior 6, those numbers were sliced in half, and it's because he's been able to stay out of foul trouble. And there's a lot of foul trouble in this one, but Brown has not been a part of that. 4 fouls on Coastals, Badu Zhang and Josh Cameron, also 4 on Michelle Anaga. The only Eagle with more than 3 fouls, Tevin Prescott. He's got 4. Joey Jerome extends the lead to 2. There have been 9 ties and 11 lead changes tonight at the Coliseum. Josh Cameron on the bench, the Chanticleer point guard. That means Eric Smith, the graduate student transfer from South Carolina, running the show. And we have a Foul called on Wintrop away from the ball. Josh Davenport can be added to that list. He just picked up his third for Wintrop. Warren Gillis goes to the line. Gillis is 6 of 7 at the stripe. The Chanticleers are 11 of 16.
Dave, Gillis is an 86% free throw shooter, so you do not want him going to that charity stripe.
Gillis looking to tie the game. This is exactly the way the first matchup between these teams went. Never much separation, and we are even as Warren Gillis has equaled the 19 points he put together against Wintrop down in Conway. And here's a 1-3-1 zone defense from the Chanticleers. Keon Moore to the elbow, penetrates, finds Jerome. Back to Moore, triple try. Halfway down, James Bourne saves possession.
Against a 1-3-1 like that, you have to find that elbow. Go get it.
A foul on Keon Moore. He didn't want to pick it up because of a backcourt violation, but had the ball gone out of bounds, it was going to be off of Wintrop anyway, and instead it's a foul on Moore and 2 free throws for the Chanticleers.
He just needed to pick it up. He was hoping maybe a teammate could get there.
Number 2 on Moore. It's a 1-and-1, the 9th team foul on Wintrop. Zhang is a 67% free throw shooter, and he gives the Chanticleers the lead.
The Eagles are slowly knocking that shooting percentage down. First half they shot 65%, and Coastal's now just shooting 50%.
Jerome with the rebound as James Bourne took a spill along with Juros Leshkovic.
Well, that's twice now on free throws that one or both players have gone down on the deck after the free throw.
A very physical contest. Maybe the 2 most physical teams in the league.
That's why there's the rivalry.
Jerome drives, gets to the rim, can't score, but he'll draw free throws. These teams are going to run out of post players before it's all said and done.
I tell you what. And there it is. That's the dribble drive again, and that's what the Eagles are doing in the second half. They're giving Coastal, a little taste of their own medicine right now.
St. Cyr's second personal, and Jerome to the stripe. Joey 5 of 5, Wintrop 12 of 15. Joab Jerome, a senior from Marietta, Georgia, 66 career start today, 113th career game.
Dave, one of the current concerns for the Eagles, they've got to get Keon Moore. He had 11 at halftime, and he is still sitting on 11. So Coastal has done a good job of locating him and not giving him any open looks at the basket. Now the Eagles have got to do a better job of screening and getting him the open looks because he can shoot the basketball.
He's only taken 1 shot in the second half.
I think that's a concern down the stretch.
7 for 7 at the stripe for Jerome as Wintrop has the lead back. Joey's got 9.
And I tell you, Dave, a 51-50 game, and with all the numbers and all the minutes that a lot of the players are getting.
And Naga knocks home the open 3, playing with 4 fouls.
That speaks highly of every player and the intensity and the importance of this game right now.
It's Naga's first field goal today.
And they're back in that 1-3-1. They've got to get a post player up there so they can get that triangular passing right now. They're going around the perimeter. They got to get dribble drive or get a post man up there.
At the short corner, the catch by Jerome, the layup, nice pass by Andre Smith.
And it was all created by the dribble drive and collapse in the zone and freed up Andre or Joab down along the baseline. Good patience by the Eagles against that 1-3-1.
Gillis up top. He has a game-high 19. And he threw it away. Andre Smith grabbed it for Wintrop. It's out of bounds. It's Wintrop basketball.
Tell you what, they are battling right now. I think they've both settled in, Dave. They've found the physicality level that the officials are comfortable with, the players are comfortable with. The game is a little smoother right now, but we're going to be shooting 2 free throws every time it stops with 9:38 to go.
Winthrop trailed by 5 at halftime. Their largest deficit was 7 late in the first half. Eagles scored on the final possession in the final 4 seconds of the half to go into the locker room down by 5. Coastal staying in his zone. Keon Moore for 3. Eagles are 5 of 17 from outside the arc.
It's a quick shot, Dave, when you've got that pressure right on you.
In the corner, Wilson rimmed it out. Joey Jerome has 11 points and 7 rebounds. Smith, James Bourne inside. And he was fouled on the rebound. So James Bourne is going to go to the free throw line, looking to give Winthrop the lead.
Well, I tell you what, they've done a nice job of
and
finding
that is all for Anaga. That's his 5th personal.
Let the red carpet be rolled out.
Let's watch number 5 on Michelle Anaga. Persistent effort here by Bourne.
He did a nice job of taking the ball away, and then he went up and he just got his feet knocked out from under him from behind.
For Anaga, it's the first time he's fouled out this year. And that's not the end of the foul trouble for the Chanticleers. Josh Cameron with 4, Badu Zheng with 4. Winthrop has their issues as well. Prescott with 4, and 3 on Josh Davenport. James Bourne is a 65% free throw shooter. Gives Winthrop the lead.
Well, that's all about free throw shooting and stops at this point, Dave.
Prescott with 4 fouls is going to come in here and give Bourne a breather.
Well, if he can give James a 2 or 3 minute breather without picking up his 4th, let James come in. If he needs to give him another breather, let him come in and substitute. Try to keep the legs fresh.
When does Cliff Ellis go back to his point guard, Josh Cameron, with the 4 fouls? Here's a foul on St. Cyr.
I wouldn't think that he would bring him back in, Dave, maybe till the 4-minute mark. I mean, 9 minutes with 4 fouls. If he's got a lead, you need to have an outstanding a ball handler in there, but more importantly, a kid that can knock the 3 down if they need the 3 ball.
Foul was on Leshkovich, his first, not St. Cyr.
So they're still playing this 1-3-1, and they are long.
Keon Moore rattled out. Prescott saved it for the Eagles.
The Eagles just have to be patient, use some of this clock, get the good.
Looks like a man defense, Bobby.
Well, they're not sure what they're running. They just went to the man.
Joey Jerome lost it going up. Chanticleer basketball.
They were trying to get out of the zone into the man because they've been beat along the baseline, and the word didn't get out. They didn't have their phones with them where they could text them the message.
Davenport in. Joey Jerome sits down. Davenport has played 7 minutes. He's got a couple points, 1 of 3 shooting, but really in there for his defense. He's going to guard Warren Gillis.
And I tell you what, that they need to get him under wraps.
Gillis fouled by Larry Brown, number 3. Brown looking for an explanation from Jason Goldenberg, who has 19 points and is 8 of 9 at the line. Will shoot free throws number 10 and 11 today. Warren Gillis has been making a living at the line during this winning streak for Coastal Carolina. Counting tonight, he is 53 of his last 58 at the free throw line.
That's why you want the ball in his hands. He's a big body. He's got good body balance, and he's shooting 86% from the charity stripe.
Once again, we're even. Keon Johnson is back in for Winthrop. Keon Moore sits down.
Keon Moore just cannot get into the rhythm in this second half, and I don't know what it's going to take for him to do that, but the Eagles need him to bury a three or not.
Moore and Jerome leading Winthrop with 11 each. Coastal back into his zone defense. Davenport, the finger roll.
I tell you what, they opened up that little gate, and he just reacted to it. Took the ball strong to the rim.
Davenport was 1 of 5 shooting over the last 3 games, 6 of 20 over the last 8, but has a couple field goals tonight, 2 of 4 from the floor.
There was that back door to Keon Johnson, defended extremely well right there, and could have been an easy 2 for Coastal.
Shot clock down to 10. St. Cyr had it knocked out by Davenport. A held ball. The Chanticleers will keep it after a timeout, but only 7 to shoot for Cliff Ellis's team. Watch Davenport.
Well, Dave, it's going to be more important that these both teams play more with their feet, especially with the foul troubles that they have.
Chanticleers with the ball looking to tie or take the lead. Tristan Curtis off the bench. His first appearance of the game, came off the bench, missed a 3, but the Chanticleers will keep possession. The shot clock winding down, and Tristan Curtis, a sophomore from the Bahamas, who had played just 38 minutes in the last 7 games, comes in. You see the reset, both teams plenty of timeouts left, and both teams shooting 2 on every foul the rest of the way. And Elijah Wilson back in the game at point guard, and he is fouled, and he will shoot 2. Andre Smith picks up his 3rd, and I guess we had the answer. 4 fouls on your point guard, but you need him, and Coach Ellis goes to him with more than 7 minutes left.
I'm a little surprised that he brought him back in this early. That just tells you that he's got a lot of confidence that the kid can play with the 4 fouls and not pick up his 5th.
Josh Cameron in there with 4 fouls. Elijah Wilson at the free throw line, and he ties the game.
But the player for Coastal that's been the dagger in the side of the Eagles has been Gillis. He's 10 for 11 from the free throw line.
Yep, 21 points for the junior from Philadelphia. What are they in defensively, Bobby?
Well, they're in their man-to-man again. They've got that smaller lineup in there.
Joey Jerome couldn't get it to fall.
He's attacking the rim. He's been getting fouled. He just didn't quite get the angle there to get fouled.
Foul on the rebound. It's on Jerome of Winthrop. Number 3 on Joab Jerome. Gillis's 21 points have equaled a career high.
Well, I watched the game tape, Dave, of them playing Gardner Webb, and he was the main factor. He's very calm with the basketball. He's a collective free throw shooter.
Tristan Curtis short with the first free throw. Bobby, he's 9 of 26 at the line this year.
The Eagles better block out on this one, because based on the statistics, it's coming off that rim. And Coastal's long.
James Bourne is out. Larry Brown is back in for Winthrop. And they do control the rebound off the missed free throw. Jerome, Smith, Moore, Johnson, and Brown for Winthrop. Johnson for 3!
The money man that wants the ball right there, Dave.
Josh Cameron lost it out of bounds. Who was it last touched by? The 2 officials nearest it, Mark Schnurr and Jason Goldenberg, didn't know. They went to Forrest Sigler and decided to go to the possession arrow. The referees didn't get a good look. We should get a better look. Looks like he just dribbled it off his own foot.
He kicked it off. Now, unless it hit off his back of Andre Smith.
So the Eagles get possession, but it costs them the arrow.
I tell you what, and that could be huge down the stretch.
Keon Johnson to Jerome. Back to Johnson. Jerome, corner three. That'll tie it. But it wouldn't fall. And now Winthrop a transition opportunity. Moore to Johnson.
Get it under control, and that's what the Eagles need to do right now. Get a good shot out of this. Run your offense.
Coach Kelsey screaming motion.
Now you got big on little.
Andre Smith. Deep two wouldn't go, but it deflects to Jerome, and that's off of Elijah Wilson.
The biggest thing in a game like this, Dave, is you can panic, you can overpass, ball fake, get the defense to lunge, and then pick your target out and deliver the ball.
Winthrop 7-5 in the Big South. Coastal Carolina 9-3. Eagles won the first meeting between these teams, and just 3 games left after this one in the Big South season. The foul is on the Chanticleers. It's Elijah Wilson's third.
Intentional or inattentional.
So Larry Brown at the line, and the first falls out. Brown not much of a free throw shooter, 47% on the year, though he's up that average to 57 in conference games. And he missed them both.
All right, well, he's missed the 2 free throws. They still have a 3-point lead, and they have possession of the ball. So you can end up either with a 5 or a 6-point lead right now, Dave.
Moore, Jerome, Brown, Smith, and Keon Johnson for Winthrop. Keon Moore picking for Brown. They don't get it to him at the short corner. Joey Jerome. Moore an up fake. Off the window. This stick back by Larry Brown. And Larry Brown is in the double digits. 10 points and 8 rebounds.
He has been a monster on the glass tonight.
The interception, but Moore couldn't hold it. And watch out for Warren Gillis. He's got 21. And Gillis is fouled. He'll shoot 2 more free throws. He's made an absolute living at the line. 10 of 11 today.
Well, he's very good, Dave, at protecting the ball, but if you notice, everything has gone to the left hand. Winthrop has not adjusted to push him to his right.
Third foul on Keon Moore. So for Winthrop, Prescott 4 fouls. 3 on Jerome, Moore, Smith, Brown, and Davenport. Gillis good with the first. For the Chanticleers, and Naga is gone. Cameron and Zheng have 4 fouls, and Zheng just back into the game with those 4 fouls. Elijah Wilson with 3. Andre Smith is checked out for Winthrop, and Josh Davenport is back in for the Eagles. Coach Kelsey screaming across the floor to make sure Davenport blocks out Warren Gillis, the shooter. It doesn't matter when you shoot free throws like that.
And that's exactly right. He's hardly even hit the rim, Dave.
23 points for the junior, a new career high.
You've got 4 minutes. This is a lifetime right now, but every possession is very important. You've got to get to the free throw line or get an easy basket.
Shot clock to 12. Davenport inside Brown. Back to Davenport.
The old give and go from the wing. Well, that was executed extremely well right there.
Davenport's hit a grand total of 2 threes in the last 2 months, so I wasn't surprised when he passed that up. But good passing by the Eagles, and they force a turnover. The 17th turnover for the Chanticleers. Watch Davenport think 3, go inside, but
good shot. You want to get your shot out of your offense. Now, one of the things that Coastal will do is they may double team the first pass, they may double team the dribbler, because Coastal is long and lengthy, and so they can take up a lot of ground, but you just want to get it. And Joab's begging for the ball inside there.
Being guarded by Gillis in a man-to-man. Larry Brown screens for a Smith 3. Badu Zheng, the rebound for the Chanticleers, and now they try to reel the Eagles back in, make this a one-possession game.
Well, everything Gillis has gone to his left.
Smith poked it out. Cameron got it back but missed, and now Larry Brown has it knocked away. Brown never found a guard to outlet to.
Yeah, he needed to pick that thing up a little quicker. But again, it comes down to the defensive possession right now. The Eagles have just got to do what they've been doing the entire second half, locking their man down.
Cameron missed much of the second half in foul trouble. A three. Keon Moore, the rebound. At what point do you start using clock?
Right now. You don't need to rush it up down there. You just need to take time off the clock, get around that 10-second.
Who do you want to shoot here if you're Pat Kelsey?
I'm going inside to the paint to Joe Webb and try to get to the free throw line. Give yourself a chance for the easy deuce, maybe going back door, getting an easy layup, or at least getting fouled and earning the points on the free throw line.
Davenport to Jerome in the corner. Shot clock at 8. Jerome tries. Pivots, fires, can't hit, stick back, Brown no good, and Coastal swallows up the rebound, but Brown the steal, and the basket! A huge play by Larry Brown!
Larry Brown has done a little bit of everything, and his defensive presence has been unbelievable.
This is Winthrop's largest lead tonight. Coach Kelsey imploring the fans to get into the game.
The arc has got to be defended now, Dave.
Wilson against Davenport. A foul, a blocking foul. Warren Gillis goes back to the line. Let's watch the play by Larry Brown. This is all hustle.
And you know, Dave, we've always talked about Larry Brown sometimes picks up the silly foul in the backcourt, but what a great play tonight. The perfect play. He's been working on it all year. He picks up the foul tonight. He executes it perfectly, and that was a big basket for Winthrop right there.
Coastal Carolina now a 7-point deficit, but Gillis a mortal lock to hit 2 free throws.
And the other thing that you need to be careful of is you've got to get your ball handlers up front, and that's what Coach Kelsey is going to do. He's going to bring Keon Johnson in. Coastal's going to play full court trap.
Do you think Coastal fouls here? 97 seconds to go, and you're down 2 possessions.
They may not foul, but they're going to be aggressive on the double teams and try to knock the ball loose.
I think if it's in Larry Brown's hands, you think about fouling him. Gillis hits them both, and Coach Ellis uses a timeout. Now if you're Pat Kelsey, do you look at this throw shooter is in?
Well, it needs to go into Keon Johnson.
It does go into Johnson. He's double-teamed, hits Moore at midcourt. And now Joey Jerome.
You just got to play strong with the ball.
Chanticleer's not fouling. Eagles can take it down to just over a minute left.
I would imagine the ball will end up in Joab's hands one way or the other before this shot clock.
Is it a 1-3-1?
It's a little matchup.
Shot clock down to 8. Andre Smith to seal it.
That's great ball movement right there. And you got to defend the arc.
Gillis, a 3 for Zheng. And the rebound by Moore off the deflection by Bourne.
That's a good possession right there. They almost lost control, and Joab found Andre out there in the corner. And he does a nice job to step back to make sure he's shooting the arc.
The 3 by Andre Smith, his second tonight. His 139th as an Eagle, bringing him within 1 of Ty Walker for 8th all-time.
And if Keon Moore scores, this will be the first point in the second half, and he had 11 in the first half.
Moore gives Winthrop a 9-point lead with under a minute left. And Coach Kelsey's going to take his players off the foul line.
What you're going to do here, Dave, is you're going to defend the arc. You'll give up the 2, not easily, but you don't want to give up the 3 ball.
Bourne out, Larry Brown in.
You're going for your defense and your free throw shooting that you said right there.
Long baseball pass knocked away by Smith, but fielded by the Chanticleers. And in the lane, the layup missed by Wilson. The second chance is good. Timeout, Cliff Ellis.
Well, there's no quit in either one of these teams right now, Dave. We got 43 seconds. So what you're going to do is you want to get the ball away from here, not on the double team, but they're going to face guard and go over the top. Just
Comes
go to
in
it.
Andre Smith, and he's fouled by Elijah Wilson. That's the fourth on Wilson, and Smith goes to the line. Andre, 78% at the stripe this year. Winthrop as a team, 18 of 23 at the line in this game, and Smith taking his first 2 free throw attempts.
Dave, one of the things that Coastal did, that last possession there, they threw to half court. Andre deflected it, but they're looking to get the ball half court and try to get a quick 3 in a timeout.
It's looking like it's not going to be tonight that Cliff Ellis equals John Wooden with 664 Division I wins. He'll have another shot at it Saturday at Kimmel Arena in Asheville, North Carolina, as Winthrop extends the lead to double digits.
He will get it. I like what Winthrop's doing now. They're kind of picking up a little higher so they can't roll the ball in. Get that clock started. Good coaching with Coach Kelsey and his staff right there.
Josh Cameron drives it in and misses, but a foul on Keon Johnson. Now, Bobby, we obviously don't know what the brackets are going to look like for the Big South Conference tournament, but if the Eagles face the Chanticleers, trying to beat a team for a third time in a season and on Coastal's home court, these have been 2 games. They might end up 2 W's in the Winthrop win column and 2 L's in the Chanticleers, but they have been hard-fought 50-50 type games.
They have. And if you get into that type of situation, there's a lot at stake. And if the Eagles play with the energy that Coach Kelsey coaches with, they'll be up for the task.
I watched film with Winthrop on Monday, and I don't watch film every single time they're back there because I don't have 27 hours in a day, but it was the longest film session I have seen this year. The coaching staff was really upset with the way they defended against Charleston Southern. And while Coastal Carolina is shooting a very high percentage, 50% today, they've turned it over on 18 occasions. They've made a lot of their hay at the free throw line. You look what's ahead for Winthrop, 2 out of their final 3.
Now, the film station that you were talking about was a lot of times if you show a kid a clip once or twice, they look at it and they move on.
Andre Smith fouled by Gillis.
But by constantly hammering it, the kids go, oh, this is important. This is the 7th time coach has stopped it on my help side.
Well, and I think there's a difference when most of Coach Kelsey's film sessions are relatively quick. They're 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. When you have one that is much longer, everyone kind of recognizes, hey, he's serious. If every film session is long, another long session doesn't really have as much impact.
You have to pick and choose where you meet your players on the floor, how long you keep them. You can't get them in a routine where it just becomes monotonous, and that's what Coach Kelsey has done with some of these, the film sessions. And the biggest thing was there was a lot of things that he needed to address on that.
With a win tonight, Winthrop is going to get to 8-5 in the Big South Conference and guarantee themselves their first 500 or better record in league play since 2009-2010. And there's Larry Brown with the rebound. He has a double-double tonight. $75-65 is going to be the final. The Eagles are now 18-2 when Pat Kelsey's team has scored 70 points or more. Chanticleers drop to 16-11, 9-4 in the Big South, and we'll have more